Guilty.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Weirdly Blended. Today is December 11th, 2021. I'm Tom.
I'm Jesse. We're coming to you live on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because we party hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like old
guy.
Cody up here.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I can't get it right ever.
The elf on the shelf. Second day in the same spot. The elf had a rough Thursday night.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Friday night. Yeah.
Our elf's been there.
Hanging out with Crystal.
Yeah, at the North Pole.
North Pole.
Yeah. Had one too many eggnogs?
One too many, maybe.
Have you had eggnog?
No.
Like liquored eggnog?
I have not. I've heard that it sells out big time during this time of year, but I've never had it myself.
We went to Walmart today and I seen it there and I was just like,
thinking about buying it.
Not really.
Yeah, it seems odd.
Like I don't know, milk and liquor just don't seem to blend.
Well, depends. Like I love
Russians.
Yeah, white Russians.
Right, Russians.
So I love
Russians.
The Russian people. But
I know. They're awesome.
Russians are great.
My brother and sister are part Russian.
There you go. So good background.
I know.
But yeah, I don't know. Eggnog, like it depends on, I guess, what the flavoring is. I'm guessing there's like some spices in there. Kind of like maybe some cinnamon or something.
I think I've had eggnog once.
Is there actual egg in
right.
it? You know, like is it like primarily like egg white and something else, or is there no egg in it? Is it just a very misleading term?
I think it's probably got a little egg.
Eggnog.
Eggnog nostalgia.
Egg. Like, I don't fucking know.
It's weird. I don't know. I never had it. Like I said, I think I sipped some of it, like just like straight up normal eggnog, not like boozed up eggnog.
Right.
And it was all right.
What's the point of it? What's the point of it if there's no booze in it?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know. I don't understand the whole like thing about eggnog though either. So, and that could be maybe a culture thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Growing up, I didn't.
Yeah, and my family,
I didn't know what the fuck
it seems like it'd be something that was a very white people thing.
Yeah,
my family wasn't really heavy into drinking, so like there weren't really alcoholic beverages at
my family was into hard drugs and stuff.
Yeah, mine either. We preferred heroin and cocaine.
Yeah. They like PCP
really.
And stuff.
Not really. My mom's gonna have a heart.
She's like, "Oh shit!" No, I'm saying my family might have been that way. No,
yeah.
No, we just. I don't think that was something my mom ever did. Like, she quit drinking, like I think after we moved to Washington.
Oh yeah.
No, that's a lie. It's a lie.
Not even a little bit.
Not even. No, because I remember her coming home one time, like after work. They had like some work thing, and she was buzzing pretty good. Yeah, and she was. Yeah, me and my friend were cracking up. Good times.
Good holiday.
Yeah. But that's when she brought me a baseball mitt.
Oh. Because
I'm left-handed, so no one got it at this like raffle, so they gave it to her. She's like, "Well, my son's left-handed."
Oh, wow. Perfect.
So I to this day I have that mitt. So it's like
nice.
It's got to be 20 years old, 25 years old, something like that. I feel old when I say that shit. It's got to be in 20 plus years old.
Well, the 20-year thing though, like it's funny when it takes forever to turn something like, round 20, but it feels like it takes no time at all to go from there to 40. You know?
Also, it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
I was probably like 15. I'm 41. But I know, guys, I look 20. I know.
You're only as old as you feel.
I know. And I feel 18. I only feel old when I'm like, my body tells me, like, hey,
I feel old.
You're old, motherfucker.
My knees have been like shitty since we did that hike that we talked about several times.
Oh, yeah. Yep, the hike, and then I've talked about my Achilles and
blowing out joints.
And like when I did yoga, I was fucking sore from moving. 8-minute yoga. It was 8-minute yoga or some shit like that. It was like 8 minutes.
Yeah,
sore for 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm good.
I hate those high intensity workouts. That's what Blanca likes to do. Is like,
bro, it was not high intensity.
Well, that's what she likes to do.
The hit.
It's high intensity. I'm just like, fuck this.
Those are actually really good because it like, it's supposed to burn calories even after you're done working out.
No, they're great for you. But one time she got me to go to one with her, and I finally I caved. I was like, fine, and like I was going through all these exercises, and the guy's like, dude, you're gonna let all these girls beat you? I was just like, fuck it, dude. Like, I don't care. I went and sat down, like, I'm done. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm good.
Hey, you gave it the good old college try.
I gave it as much of a try as I was going to. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes a girl a better, like,
yeah,
that's a macho thing.
The gals are kicking my ass, but that's the thing. Is like, he thought it was going to motivate me. I'm like, nah, they're in good shape.
Oh, you're going to let the girls beat you?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm a gentleman.
I bet if I went up against Ronda Rousey, I would probably lose.
Yeah, like all those girls were kicking my ass. I was just like, fuck it, dude. Do you see me? I'm sweating. I'm tired. Yeah, they're going to win. No matter what, I'm not going to like, oh yeah, you're right, they're in front of me, and all of a sudden take off and beat them. Fuck no,
push him out the way.
No, I want to quit. I wanted to quit 20 minutes ago.
I wanted to quit when I got here.
Yeah, I wanted to quit before my wife even mentioned that this was a thing. So like, the fact that I did any of it is a miracle.
My wife said Tom, and then I said no.
Yeah, I just said no on principle, and then I waited to hear what it was that she wanted to do.
And then I
said no again. And then about a week later, I finally agreed.
Like, fuck.
So but I got the points for it at least.
As a guy though, sometimes you got to bite that bullet. You got to suck it up and you just got to do it. As much as you probably don't want to.
Right.
In the end, for any of you youngsters listening, in the end, it's going to help you out.
Just do some stuff.
Some stuff you're going to just, because I think it works out and pans out in the end. Like, it'll help you.
What you shouldn't do, like we discussed last week, don't kidnap a girl, hold her, tell her that you're going to keep her until she loves you.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Grab her by the neck and spin her around in the shower.
That's 6 years I spent in prison. Proof, no.
The 25 to life isn't worth it, okay?
Yeah.
Because then you're all Me Too'd. It's like, it's just not, it doesn't work.
I want to know if that's actually ever worked, ever.
Again, Munchausen. If it does work, it's psychosis. It's not.
So
is
that like the Stockholm syndrome? Same difference?
Wait a minute. No, I'm wrong. Munchausen is when you perceive yourself as like sick.
That's the
Stockholm syndrome. That's what I meant.
Yeah, Munchausen's when you believe you're sick when you're not.
Where did that fucking term come from?
Stockholm?
Munchausen. Like Germans, it's like eating houses, right? Munchausen.
Munchausen.
That's a Munchausen.
Well, like parents, that's what they do to their kids. Not all parents, obviously. There's people out there though that they'll like
think yourself into sickness. And
like there's a song by Eminem where he talks about that. Like he was made to believe he was sick when he was. I don't know if that's true or not, but like that's pretty much.
Maybe it's like a deep,
like when he was younger, like his mom made it sound like his mom made
shitty.
It sounded like she like purposely would make him sick.
Yeah,
but I've saw some of those shows like on 2020 and stuff where the mom's like making the daughter think. I think the daughter thought she was going to be bound to this wheelchair and stuff. Like,
and she ends just because she was afraid to be alone.
Yeah,
right?
And then the daughter ended up killing her.
Yeah, I remember that.
They made a movie, a Lifetime movie.
Down the stairs.
They made a Lifetime movie about that too. I forget what it was called, but it was pretty fucked up because it was like she wouldn't let her daughter do anything.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Lifetime makes the best movies.
God, dude, sure. They do. Those things are addicting.
The best acting.
They're the most terrible acted movies, but they're just so. And it's always the same plot.
It's like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I know they're true stories, some of them, but some of it's like, the woman's like beating the shit out of the guy, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it's just funny. The whole plot's always almost identical.
Yeah, and they pretty much and
then at the end they come back and get shot, and it ends so fast.
The movie with Julia Roberts,
Pretty Woman.
No, Sleeping with the Enemy or whatever, right? Where she gets abused by the husband.
Oh
goes into hiding, and then he finds her. It's like that movie. Over and over and over.
It is, exactly.
We throw in a couple movies about kidnapped girls.
I remember I was in health class and we watched a movie about girls who had it's not anorexia, bulimia.
Oh, okay.
Bulimic.
Yeah.
And I remember that was like the weirdest thing to see in health class.
Sure.
Oh man, I'm gonna scarf and barf. I was like, and she opens her closet and she has buckets of barf in there.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on Intervention.
I was like,
yeah,
what? Which is crazy. Like, if that's you, please get help. Like, that's sad.
It is sad.
You know what I mean?
We're not making fun of that. It's just like, I mean,
yeah. The movie itself, like it was a pretty shocker.
Yeah,
but no, I'm not making fun of people with bulimia, obviously.
Right.
But
no, I got
just saying, if you do get help,
it's really not good for the body long term.
No, I mean that eats your teeth and everything. All the acid.
Also, just throwing it out there, maybe just flush the vomit. Don't keep it in bags. I don't really know what the purpose is of that, but
they don't want to be in the bathroom and have someone hearing them puke in the toilet all the time.
Well, someone might go in the closet. Is all I'm saying. Like, I mean,
I was putting your clothes away.
Where's the end game?
Like,
there?
What if
keeping it in a bag in the closet? Oh,
throw up.
Are you trying to make prison hooch like 20-year-old vomit? This one's aged oak barrel, aged to perfection.
Yeah, you can taste 3-week-old
Eating
dinner.
disorders aren't funny.
No, they're not. They're
the
not.
Point we're trying to make. They're not funny.
No.
People should get help if they have them. But
I know it sounds like we're making fun of
I'm making fun of a little bit of keeping the vomit. Like that's like a little. I don't get it. Maybe
I think you should be able to make jokes out of life.
Well, if you don't laugh, you cry. Like I think we've lost that a little bit in society. You got to kind of light heart some things, or else, like, God, this world's gonna really suck.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all we're doing.
You know, if you have it, you have it. Just get some help.
Well, there are reasons for it. Like, you know, there's traumas and things that spark
a lot of that stuff.
And you know, you don't realize how beautiful you are.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
That, right? Like, it's a psychosis where people think that they look worse than they do.
They think they're ugly, or they think they're
false
fat. You know,
what do they call that? It's like a body dysmorphia. Or
body dysmorphia.
Is that what it's called? So they actually see themselves worse than they are, and it's like, you know,
and it's funny, and this goes for guys and girls. I think that just goes for anybody. Not you know, obviously eating disorders is a whole different spectrum to it, but in the same realm, it's, you know, you might see yourself as, you know, looking like shit, or like, you know, not feeling good or looking good, but someone else is like, no, you look good. Like, I'll do that to my wife. No, you look good. She's always like, no, I don't.
We're our worst critics.
You know what I mean?
We always are. You know,
and I do the same thing. She's like, oh, you look nice. Whatever. I look fat.
You lying whore.
She called my stomach Elvira. No.
She thought you named your
Yeah, she thought I named it Elvira. It was just funny. My wife was looking on her phone at a pic. It was like a figurine of what it looked like Elvira. It was like a fake Elvira. But I was acting like I was dancing on her before I left, and to come here, and she's like, I'm like, what? Because I could see her phone. I'm like, what are you looking at, Elvira? And she smacks my stomach. Wow, what, you named it? I'm like, what? And I go, what are you talking about? She's like,
so you're doing a sexy dance
you're Elvira.
You're doing
She's
a sexy dance for her, and all she sees is your stomach. Like, that's, I mean, how cruel.
It was so funny. She was laughing so hard. But, you know, that, so, you know, that just, you know, we all see things differently.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
Right. Like, was it, this has nothing to do with that, but this just reminds me of the story from the other day. Was it yesterday? I was getting ready to go to my wife's. She had a Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting ready, and I remember I took my ring off, my wedding ring, the night before, and I put it on the nightstand.
Wow.
And so, you know, whatever. I get ready. I go get my hair cut, and I go shower up, and I'm getting ready to leave. Or not getting ready to leave. I'm just getting ready in general. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, let me get my ring. And I look, and I'm like, where the fuck's it at?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it's not, I swear it was on this nightstand. I start looking under the bed. I start, like, looking in my wife's nightstand drawers. I'm like, she must have grabbed it and fucked with me, you know? Yeah. Like, oh, you don't got your ring on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like looking, and I move the mattress up, and I grab my nightstand, I pick it up, and I look underneath it, move it, look in the drawers, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I haven't, at this point yet, I'm not texting Alicia to say,
yeah,
where's my ring? You know, you're messing with me. Yeah. And I go like this, where the fuck's it at?
You put it back on.
And I look, and I'm like, oh, it's on my finger. I must have put it on like that morning.
Like in your sleep.
I think in the morning when I woke up, I grabbed it and I just put
it back on.
Yeah, because my fingers, I don't know if your guys' fingers ever swell.
Oh, yeah.
And it feels real tight.
Mine are swollen right now.
So I'll take it off sometimes just to kind of let my finger breathe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I must have put it back on, but that whole time I'm looking for it, and I'm spending like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not at the point where I'm cussing, but in my head, I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Where did I put this?
At?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was more sweating. Yeah, I was more sweating. Bull's like, great. I'm gonna have to tell my wife I lost my fucking wedding ring. And I'm like looking, and then when I do this, I go, oh, okay. there it is.
Honey, never mind.
I know. Like, she was at work, but yeah, I was like, oh, okay, there we go. So maybe I am old.
Well,
right? Maybe I'm older than that.
I think it's just normal, right? You're not old, Jesse.
I know. I feel young until that moment.
Yeah.
So I have an onset of Alzheimer's.
By the way, if you have Alzheimer's, also get help.
Yeah.
No.
That's a scary one.
Like early onset Alzheimer's?
That'd be scary.
I know. To know that you're losing your memory. That'd be difficult.
I think it'd be, obviously for me, like if that ever happened, I'd feel more bad for like
the people,
my family, you know?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not gonna remember that I got this disease, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's gonna suck to forget those people that I love.
Yeah.
And it's gonna suck for them because then you're gonna be looking at them like,
right,
who the fuck are you?
Yeah, and it's sad. I mean, I volunteered for a while at a hospice center for a few months.
That'd be tough.
And it was a good experience, but there was a gal there that had pretty severe dementia, and she would be waiting at the door for her daughter. And they told me when I started, like, just if she brings up that she's waiting for her daughter, don't try to tell her that nobody's coming or anything. Just kind of say okay and like just kind of hear her out and don't make a big deal out of it. So sure enough, she'd be sitting there and she'd just say like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my daughter," and be like, "Oh, well, that's nice." And yeah, it's just kind of sad. I mean, we had one relative through marriage, so not somebody I was really related to, but somebody I knew through a marriage in the family that had it, and it got really sad by the end. I mean, it's rough what it does to people.
I just think of The Notebook.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Didn't she have it?
Yeah, she did.
And he'd like redo her,
and she would like sometimes remember him,
and then sometimes wouldn't.
My aunt had a neighbor who she actually tried to, I don't think she succeeded, but she tried to stab her husband because she thought he just broke into her house.
Oh God.
She didn't know who he was anymore, and she grabbed a knife in the kitchen, like super freaked out, because I think they get a little more paranoid too.
Well, yeah, because you're like, agitated. Whoa, I don't remember
so that. So she was really scared, and that's when they had to move her into a home. But yeah,
I need to go to the doctor because I
what a happy
anyway. No, I like, so the other day I'm working from home and I do not remember typing my boss, right? And I thought the kids did it, and so I'm like kind of like
pissed.
I got pissed, yes. And I'm like, don't touch my fucking computer. Like when I'm working, it's off limits. They're like, I didn't. Well, what do you know, like saying they didn't, and I'm like, even if you didn't, just don't touch the computer, blah blah. And then obviously then Alicia, voice of reason, and I was thinking later on, was like, were you? She brings it, got brought up, and then I was like, no, I wasn't trying to like cuss. I didn't cuss at them. I was just cussing in general, whatever.
Sure.
I go, but she goes, why would they write that? I know, I get it.
What was the message?
It just said, I don't remember. Said something like about some people not being there because we have like an all staff meeting on Wednesday actually, where everyone has to be on site, and it was like, I heard some people aren't going to be there, and then it was like the response was just a short little like, who ain't going to be there? It was something like that. And I don't remember writing that.
JJ,
you know what I mean?
Who? Papa? Where's the I?
Yeah, that's what they usually would be. I mean, he's a good speller, though.
Yeah. I know, that's the thing now. They actually could do it.
He's a pretty good speller.
It's not like back when we were putting the toilet in.
Yeah.
I can't read.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That kid loves to read.
Yeah.
Like, we'll tell him to go to bed, and then all of a sudden, I've caught him
with the book. Yeah.
Well, no, like he has the LEDs, kind of like
yeah.
And he's like, the other day, I'm like, his door's cracked, and I'm like, oh, I can hear something because he'll read out loud, sort of. And I like just poke my head in, and I'm like, I just kind of poke in, and I see, and he's just reading a book.
Yeah.
The TV's off, like he's just. All right. And so then a couple days later, I could hear him, and sure enough, he's fucking reading his book. We're like, buddy, I love that you love reading. It's kind of late. You need to go to bed. You need your sleep.
Yeah.
I don't want to discourage that. You know what I mean?
But you don't want him screwing up the next day either.
Yeah.
A fine line.
Kids, when they're tired, other parents out there,
they're no fun.
They are emotional fucking little bastards sometimes. I'm just going to say that.
That's the most accurate way to describe
I'm just saying they are emotional. That was JJ yesterday.
Rude.
He was just so emotional over some toy thing that he didn't get. And I think honestly, some of it was because he was so tired. And so he was just.
And then you tell him to go take a nap or something, and they get all pissed. Like,
I don't want a nap. I'm like,
I don't need a nap, bro. Yeah, you do.
Wait until you're our age. You would love a nap.
Believe me. Oh, you know what Elliot tells me all the time?
I love napping now.
I was talking to Elliot about like, hey, maybe we'll watch like a family movie this week. And he goes, yeah, but Daddy, you always fall asleep. This is true, son. Someday you will understand.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's just still watch this goddamn movie.
Yeah, that's okay.
How was that Home Alone movie?
Yeah.
It was trash.
All right.
It was trash. I watched it that same night.
There was some funny parts. The kids lost interest about halfway through. I had a hard time watching, no offense, but the little like fat kid sitting at a Scarface table with candy, and like, I get it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
This kid's not really pulling it off. I don't know.
No.
Where did the kid get this like 70s suit to to do the Scarface? And he puts his face down in the candy and
so I will admit some of the like traps were cool, right?
And a lot of the actors I liked. A lot of the actors that are in the show in the movie I
didn't really care for the movie though.
I mean, it could have been worse, but
I have a special place for the original.
Yeah, see, I just think Home Alone is one. It'd be like if they tried to
remake Scarface,
National Lampoon's Scarface. Like some movies are just so
like they're redoing Willow, right?
Why?
They're either going to make it a movie or it's going to become a series on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Okay, I'm already thinking badly about this show because Willow's so good.
See, that's the thing is like, can you imagine like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? Do they ever need to remake that movie ever? No. A Christmas Story with Ralph.
Can't do it.
Why would you ever even try? They did try to make a second one. Have you ever seen it?
Never.
Really
you know
heard
what?
about it?
No. I just heard about it right now.
Yeah.
It's probably that bad.
Known as being a flop. There's just certain things like Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2.
They were good.
They should just call them Home Alone and Home Alone 2 and just leave it at that. Home Alone 3.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Home Alone. Then there was Home Alone Again or some shit.
Don't even know. I didn't even know.
I never watched any of them after second.
My brother was still young enough when the third Home Alone came out. He was like really into them when we were kids, and we all were, but he was super into them.
You have the little talk thing.
I used to. I gave it back to him. He saw
just recently.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was cool.
The talk boy.
Yeah, I always wanted those.
Credit card, you got it.
I used to always want one of those. You filthy
Uncle
animal.
Frank told me if I ever saw him in the shower, I'd never feel like a real man. Oh, those movies. And Donald Trump.
He was young in that.
Donald Trump. Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me where the lobby is? Down the hall and to the left.
I know. I forgot he was in those.
And by the way, it was Rosie O'Donnell. Can you imagine if he just didn't stop? And while you're at it, kid, here's a hat.
So gonna make America great again.
Make America great again, kid.
No, those movies, they're classics, you know.
They are. They really are.
Like honestly,
he's on top of the World Trade Center. My kids only know about the World Trade Center because of that movie.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yeah. Well, the little montage of him going around New York. Yeah, it ends with him on top of the World Trade Center, which we no longer have.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't they rebuild them?
Well, they built
something similar.
They built a new World Trade Center site, but it's not the same building.
Yeah.
It's not towers. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, those movies are classics. Like they redid Karate Kid. I didn't mind the new Karate Kid.
The show, it's all right.
No, the show's good.
Yeah. The movie.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Like that show's actually really good.
Yeah. The
movie with the Karate Kid,
Will Smith's son.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith.
It was all right.
Jackie Chan beating the shit out of that car.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the one? Like,
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's all right, but man, the Karate Kid's for me personally.
Yeah.
It's top 5 of my favorite childhood movies of all time.
Yeah.
That's one of my top, like, I'll watch that to this day. I'll still watch the fucking Karate Kid.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, A Christmas Story, one of the movies I brought up earlier, I was at work listening to, my classroom door was open during lunchtime, and I was just listening to these kids talking out in the hallway as they're eating lunch, because they all have to sit in random places now to eat so that they're separated enough. These two boys are talking, and this kid is
lounge
going almost, and the students are smoking away.
This is so stressful.
I can't handle it. But these kids are talking about A Christmas Story, and this kid was like throwing lines out like crazy. I'm like, that movie was made in like 1982 or something.
God, now it's 2.
And I was raised with it. I loved it. This kid, I mean, was nowhere near alive then, and he's loving it.
That's cool.
Like some movies, and it was set, in like the 40s. So even though it was made in the 80s, like the old feel kind of works.
Was it set in the 40s?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like 1941.
I remember that he had got the BB gun.
Yep, Red Ryder BB.
Yeah, they sell that at like Walmart or something.
I love that line when he's writing the theme that he's going to turn in, and the teacher's reading it, and she's like, "I want a Red Ryder BB gun with a compass and a stock and a thing that tells time." Like, it's beautiful poetry. A thing that tells time.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I've watched that movie.
Are you for real?
Like, fully watched that movie? Oh, my God.
You need to watch it.
I'm 40 years old, 41, and I don't think I have.
I love that movie. I absolutely love that movie.
It's on HBO Max, I think?
Yeah, it is. That's where I watched it this year. I have it on DVD, but I want it's easy.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good movie.
We watch like Elf,
The Leg
obviously.
Lamp. Elf is good. We were talking the other day about the scene with Elf and the guy working in the mailroom.
Oh, yeah. My wife thought that was us.
You're a smart guy. I got so many ideas.
So many.
Just listen to me. Yeah. He's like, does it have syrup in it? Yeah.
I love syrup. He pours the whole bottle.
Or does it have sugar? I don't remember what he said, but
yes, syrup. He just like grabs both hands. Next scene, he's just plastered.
You got lots of ideas, man. There's so many ideas.
You're my best friend. And it's funny, we're watching that because we were decorating our tree, and I put that on because they were watching. It was like YouTube. I'm like, no, we ain't watching this shit. I'm putting something else on, so I put on Elf when we decorated the tree. And when that part was on, I think we were already done. And Alicia goes, "That's you and Tom." Like,
we've had our moments.
Maybe if we were drunk, yes, we might have had our moments.
You have so many ideas, damn it.
I love you. No, I love
the best.
You. I
know. Where's my dad? Dad, there's a thing that's scary. It's making noises. That's just the radiator. No, it isn't. Oh, wait. Yeah, it is. Okay. What a good movie.
Yeah, that movie's pretty good.
There's someone special, and the dad opens it up, and it's lingerie.
It's funny how that became like a kind of a classic Christmas movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It did. Yeah.
A movie that I think's a Christmas movie is Die Hard, the first one.
Oh yeah. My brother and I used to watch it every year.
There's Alicia.
How it's turned into a Christmas movie outside of it being set during Christmas time. There's no other connection, but it is.
Well, Alicia is like, this isn't a Christmas movie. I'm like, babe, it's a Christmas movie.
It is. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I love that movie. Yeah. She's never watched it. Oh, and so I put it on, and she's like, what is this? I go, Dar, you never seen this? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, let's put it on. And she thought she was going to fall asleep. And she's like, why did you put this fucking movie on?
It's good.
Because it was so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's his name? The Alan Rickman, right?
Alan Rickman.
He plays the evil man.
Yeah. What is his name? Sneed? Or what is it? He's
Snape, right?
Snape. Yeah, he's professor. He's such a good actor.
John McClane.
John McCain, you bastard.
You sons of bitches aren't going to get this building.
He had like a goatee and everything in that movie.
He did. Yeah.
It's funny because he's like all clean shaven.
Yeah.
Sneed? Yeah. Is it Sneed?
Snape.
Snape. He does a good job as.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
Alan Rickman, he passed away of cancer a few years ago.
Did he?
Yeah. He was a really good actor. I think he was like a stage actor too.
Yeah, he was.
So yeah,
he was an excellent actor.
He had been
very versatile.
To the same woman for years. Like sounded like a stand-up.
Yeah, right.
Married to the same woman.
Who does that?
Yeah, hopefully, we will be. Hopefully.
Well, I've already been divorced.
Well, but I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I hope you are though.
Thank you.
I hope I stay married. Obviously,
right.
That's my plan.
Right. Speaking of,
we'll see what life has to go show me.
Speaking of the wife, she got a job, so our little hiatus of employment is over. No assets liquidated. Everything went just fine.
Yeah, that's the worst high five with Knuckles.
Who high fives anymore?
I know. It was such an awkward.
This angle.
And I was looking at us on the camera like, hey, ooh.
Good try. We tried.
Looking cool,
but hey, at least anyone that listens and doesn't watch
I'm wearing a Green Arrow shirt. I guess that says a lot about me, right?
I'm wearing a
Fila hoodie. What does that say about you? No, I'm just
my grandma got it for me when I was in high school. Wow.
But that's awesome.
So yeah,
I thought that was cool. That was such good news when she like called like Alicia and let her know.
Yeah, we're pretty. Shit. I figured it would be quick. She's a pretty smart gal. She's got a lot going on, so it's like I didn't see her being out of work for very long. Yeah, she's tenacious. She goes.
I didn't see that. So she was probably actually applying for thousands of jobs.
She applied. I mean, the night she got let go, she applied for like 5 jobs. So even like concern about having to do stuff for unemployment, it's like.
Yeah, already there. I'm step ahead.
She already was applying for jobs for fun, just to do it. So,
right
now it's like, So now she's got the job.
I don't know about you guys. Applying for jobs is,
I don't like it.
Garbage.
She's done it enough that she just intuitively does well, and so she did a great job. They wanted her, so she actually, she's right back to where she was, and actually making a little bit more even. So
I know. I thought that was cool news.
Yeah,
Lisa's like, man, next time I get a job, I'm gonna have you negotiate for me.
I know. That's the thing. Just see if there's wiggle room. Ladies, you just gotta ask.
I did it when I got my job as the supervisor.
Yeah.
They said no, but still, I asked.
Well, I mean, like as a teacher, there's no negotiating. Like it is set contract language. So whatever you come in with is.
They are doing though at where I'm at working. I think coming up is. So they've been doing like a pay composition study, and so like my technicians, they all got raises.
Oh, so they've kind of completed some of that.
Yeah. So phase 3, which is coming up, will affect me. Like non-exempt. Wait, I'm exempt or non-exempt?
You're exempt.
I'm exempt. Yeah. I'm hourly or I'm salary, so I'm exempt.
Right. So
they're going to be doing us next. So hopefully it raises in my future.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right? Because I seen some of my techs pay, and I'm like, I mean, they're kind of close to me though, a little bit. Like, yeah. I think you guys need to up it a little.
Yeah, right.
No, I was so stoked when I found out they got the raise though. I was so happy for them.
Well, you were telling me some examples of guys that have been there longer.
Yeah.
You know, it'd make you mad if you had more experience and were getting screwed because you started.
And I think sometimes it's because you start there.
Yeah.
And so you're like sistered in a way.
Yeah, right.
Is that the proper term? Sistered in?
You're scissored.
You're scissored in. Hello.
I lucked out with teaching. I got a bachelor's and I went back and got my teacher stuff. And so I ended up with 2 bachelors. So I started out at like the bachelor plus 90 level, which automatically starts you way higher on the pay scale.
Oh, that's good.
So
didn't you try to go back for your master's?
Well, I was going to get a master's in behavioral stuff.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad I didn't follow through on that.
Well, I was going to do the same because I got my bachelor's in like computer science and then I thought about going from a master's, but I was like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah. At this point,
so
I'm like,
I'm going to pay more.
What am I at? I'm bachelor's plus 145, which if I don't get a PhD, which is not going to happen, is as high as I'm going to go. But I get advanced for like 16 years or whatever.
Oh, that's good.
So in like 10 years, probably I'll be topped out. But like, it's not really worth me doing more educationally. You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
It's not going to pay off in the end because you're going to. By the time you retire, you're going to be fucking.
Yeah,
still
I might
paying
as well just be smart with my money and. You know, just be a good teacher. So yeah, so it's kind of nice. I like that.
I was like, what was that?
It's a ghost. It's a ghost.
Dude, you got to watch the Supernatural. There's an episode where they're in a Scooby Doo episode.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty good.
Oh man,
yeah, it's. I don't know who does the Scooby voices, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, I can't do
it. Someone does the Shaggy, and
yeah,
like what was his name? Matthew Lillard. He did a pretty good Shaggy voice.
Yeah, he did. He was in the
movie.
The movie, yeah.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job.
And they were funny. I mean, like, those movies were actually kind of funny. Like, I thought they were stupid when I was young, and then I rewatched them as an adult with the kids, and I caught a lot of the humor.
Yeah.
That I didn't really think about before. I was like,
yeah,
oh.
the first one, it's pretty good. The second one, I think, was pretty good. And then, obviously with sequels, they tend to just drag shit. Like they run to the like.
I think a lot of times what happens is it becomes a calculation. Like, this movie should be worth this much money, so we're not going to put production value in it because we know it's already going to pull in this audience.
Yeah.
So they cheap it so that they're guaranteed a profit, as opposed to making it a piece of art, which is really what cinema should be. So,
well, that's what I think they like with the Godfathers. Like, obviously,
they are
some are better than others.
Cutting the third Godfather,
but they were so good. All three of them were such good, masterpiece. Cinema that it's like these were really good, sequels, which is rare. And I thought the same actually with some of the Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Once they started getting like the Crystal Skull and stuff, I didn't really care for that one. But like the original Indiana Jones, and then like Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then one with Sean Connery, like those were really good. I always thought, and I don't know, though I made the kids watch those movies.
Yeah, they're good.
They were like, "What is this?" And then they watched it, and they're like, "Can we watch that again?"
I had a dream I met Harrison Ford. I came out of Home Depot, and he was in my truck, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, man." He's like, "Hey, I'm just here." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Just chilling.
He's like, "Can I get a ride?"
My plane crashed.
He goes, "Can I get a..." Yeah. I actually landed the wrong way on a runway. They took away my pilot's license. Can you give me a ride?
I know.
So, I took him to his, apartment.
Damn. Tough
I asked
times.
him, like, "Hey, can we, FaceTime my wife? I think she might get kind of jealous." He's like, "Yeah." And then we didn't do it. Dreams are just weird.
Dreams are hella weird.
And then we get there, and we're, laughing it up. I go to follow him into his apartment, and he shuts the door in my face. What the fuck is with this dream?
And it's called You Woke Up.
Yeah, I did shortly after. Yeah.
No, I've had some weird-ass dreams like that where it's like,
why Harrison Ford, though? I hadn't seen Harrison Ford in anything for years. I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last thing I seen him in. I think he was in one of the newer Star Wars movies, but he ends up dying.
Okay, and I know that they not redid, but they made a new Indiana Jones a while back.
Yeah, they're making one right now.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think he's going to be in it.
Okay,
but yeah, dude, I loved Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
so Indiana Jones, I would have I always wanted to do something like that with my life. Is be some kind of fucking archaeologist, treasure,
but a cool one.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Isn't it Drake something?
Nathan
Drake from the
Uncharted movie, Uncharted games.
Yep,
the amazing games.
Yeah,
those games play like movies.
Yeah.
So if no one's ever played those games, I highly recommend it. If you're a gamer, I'm a gamer. Those games are awesome. I just actually got, it's called Uncharted Legacy. I need to download because I think they're getting rid of it off of the PlayStation Store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I just read somewhere.
Huh.
Those games are fucking brilliant. But my friend just told me about the Legacy one. He said it's really good. But they're making a movie on that too.
Yeah.
But I used to want to do that, and I used to want to be the mafia.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Godfather.
Italian mafia.
Yeah, and it had to be Italian mafia.
That's the coolest.
I don't know. It just seems so classy. It doesn't seem like a gangbanger. I'm not a Crip or Blood. I'd rather be in the mafia. It just seems
I'm in this fucking crew, guy. Okay.
It just seems so cool. You got a suit.
And they're always sitting there with their forks, like the way they eat the pasta. Yeah. They're all hunched over. Jesus, I know. The Sopranos, man. I fucking love The Sopranos.
I still got to, like I've said in other podcasts, I still got to rewatch.
Martin Scorsese movies, Goodfellas was a great view on mob life. I mean,
I love Goodfellas. Casino, I love that movie.
Casino was great. Yep. When they're digging the holes, they have to meet out in the middle of the desert. Yeah. They're always nervous because it's you go to the desert, you disappear.
What's another one? I don't know if it was a mobster one. Untouchables?
The Untouchables was. It was
Kevin Costner was in
but
that.
it followed more the
FBI
the Untouchables
side, right?
were I think they were actually IRS agents. Right?
Whack.
No, they got him on IRS charges. They were police and some federal law enforcement.
Yeah. I thought that was a good movie too.
Yeah, it was. I didn't, as much as I love Robert De Niro, I don't see him as Al Capone. If know what Al Capone looked like, Al Capone was a much younger man. And
well, you know, it's crazy.
Fat.
A lot of these mobsters were actually very young. The ones that passed away, like was it Al Capone?
So Al Capone is an interesting guy. He started in New York
because he was hella young when he died.
And he was known as Scarface because they tried to slit his throat, so he had this huge scar. And he left New York because I think he thought he was going to get killed. And then he went to Chicago, and that's when he started all the bootlegging stuff, and that's where he like exploded. He was like the drug kingpin of the day.
Yeah.
And the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, he consolidated power in Chicago.
That's crazy, huh?
And ended up in prison. He had syphilis for years. He lost his mind.
Is that how he died?
They let it was. Well,
syphilis?
There's arguments that maybe he wasn't really as sick as he pretended. Some people said that he wasn't as bad off as he acted, but there's a lot of evidence that he truly was
pretty bad off.
Syphilitic, would that be a word?
Yeah,
and,
we'll say so.
If you know about syphilis, it's very treatable, but if you don't treat it, it like eats your brain. So
it's pretty bad.
He was not well, ended down in Florida.
But you got to think too, back then, they probably couldn't treat that.
Syphilis?
What's this?
Son, you're going to die.
I don't know syphilis.
Syphilis? How about syphilis? I don't know.
Honey, I didn't cheat on you with her. I swear.
Where'd you get that, Al?
Who the fuck is syphilis?
It's none of your fucking business. What's it do you?
Well, I'm trying to think of another like mobster that was pretty. Was it Dillinger? He was pretty young, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he was officially a mobster.
He wasn't a mobster.
He was just a crime. Yeah.
See, but like that lifestyle was so cool.
Yeah, in the 1920s, the whole.
Tell me, being a criminal in the 20s wasn't kind of cool though.
Stuff. Apparently, there was a relative, probably in every family, but according to my mom, there was some distant relative in my family tree that was a rum runner, worked for somebody from Canada through Montana.
The nicest mobster you know.
Hello there. Oh, I just got something in the back there. I came from Montreal. Gonna run through Quebec. Yeah.
It's all fucking liquored up syrup.
Oh, yeah. I'm on my way to Montana. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I would love to see a fucking.
You're under arrest. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. I'm sorry.
I know. You know what? This guy was nice. We're gonna give him like 4 years.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I would throw the book at you, but damn it, you're too kind.
I know.
2 years.
That's how the Canadian mobsters work.
Oh, thanks.
Come to find out they're the most ruthless.
They can't kill anybody. Like they try and then set them up and then they stop. I'm sorry, I can't go through with it.
I know.
Well, who was gonna do it? Yeah,
this
moose. Fat Tony. He was gonna have you whacked, but I just can't do it. Yeah. That's Minnesota. That's the Minnesota. Mafia.
God, that's what that was. Fargo, Minnesota, I think.
Oh yeah, that's your friend in the wood chipper there. Love it.
God, that's great.
Oh man.
So when me and Elisa went to the mall today, we went Christmas shopping to go finish up some Christmas shopping. Because we still got to get the kids stuff. I don't know what to get them sometimes.
It's hard. Yeah, they're in that phase where it's a lot of
I don't know what to get Elena.
Things.
I don't know what to get her.
Find her the weirdest thing you can possibly think of, and she will love it.
Yeah, I found some anime stuff. I got some stuff.
She likes silly things.
Yeah, it's just like, what do we get these kids? It seems like, because obviously when we grew up, at least when I grew up, we didn't have much. And so like, we try to make up as parents. You try to get your kids everything, right? Yeah. So now you get to that point where it's like, fuck, I think I gave you guys this too much.
Now how can I outdo myself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But what I started thinking about when I was there is Christmas shopping and being out there during Christmas. It's
a nightmare.
That's hell on earth.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? Like it's a literal hell on earth. You're waiting in lines. We went to Burlington, waited in line for fucking ever.
It's hot.
Just to just to clock out, just to, like check out. And like, it was nuts. We went to the mall. Like I said earlier, we went to the mall and we went to this place called like Pearl Tea. It's like Boba Tea pretty much. Anyway, we ordered our Boba Teas, which were good. So I was kind of a hater then. So I jumped on the hipster bandwagon. It's not bad.
Yep.
I like tea anyway.
Your man buns growing in.
The little balls in my mouth were so good. They're actually pretty good though. I ain't gonna lie. But there was this kid, and I think he was on a date, right? So I can hear this awkward conversation happening. His date, she wasn't talking much, so he was doing a lot of talking, and then he said something that I'm like, I don't know if I would have brought that up on the first date because it was just so random and out of the blue. He's like, so, true story. I was plunged out aside my mom when I was born. Because I was coming out feet first, so they plunged me out. True story. I was like, I don't think you should bring that up on the first date.
True story.
Yeah, they took a plunger to his mama to get him out.
My genes make horrible births. Just so you know.
I know.
Are you interested?
Then I start like just listening there, and so I'm like, I gotta write this down because it was funny. Just him saying that, like,
they plunged me out. I don't think that's how it works.
Like, I don't know. They get a plunger.
It's almost there. I can feel it. Hold on, we got to get her upside down.
I'm like sitting there, and I'm like,
I thought the doctor
this
actually
is so
like
awkward.
moved the baby, didn't they?
I thought so. He said he was coming out feet first, though.
I was plunged out. I don't think you know how that works.
Yeah. That's
is
not
that
how
your
the plunger
mother's
works.
words, or is that you just like left fielding it? Like, hey, this is not going well. She is not talking. I was plunged out of my mom's vagina. Is that going to get any points?
Anything? Is this a conversation starter?
Is this going to get you? How were you born?
I know. Like, I didn't know if he thought that was going to boost the combo or what, but she was obviously very quiet after that.
She didn't enjoy that, did she?
I don't think so. She was shaking a lot, like. Just like a bit fidgety, like
he had kidnapped her, wouldn't let her leave until she loved him.
He tried it. He tried the 365 move. Was not working.
Baby girl.
She gave me the look like help.
What's the thing? Is it this thing that they say is like
they say something? There's like a way the kid can do a sign.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, my only concern is aren't the bad guys going to learn this or whatever the hell it is?
I don't know.
And like can be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I seen a video where the girl's like doing a sign on her back, or I don't know, something. But no, like this lady
turn the bunny hop into that, right? Just the bunny. What is it? What the fuck is that? They're like, oh, what are you doing? Just TikToking.
Yeah.
Help me.
There's this platypus thing. It's called a Perry.
Oh God.
I'm like, what is this? Because Chica will do this thing. She's like, oh, like that. I'm like, what is that? She goes, it's called Perry. Like, I go, Perry the Platypus? Like from the, what is it? It's a show on Nickelodeon. God, I'm going to have to look that up.
And that's a thing now on TikTok.
Yeah. It's on the top of my head. It's a funny show. I'm not going to lie.
One of the many reasons that we are the #1 country in the world, we have the Perry dance on TikTok.
Perry the Platypus. He's a platypus. He's from Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
But they call it the Perry, and they do this, and then they like do some worm dance. I'm like, whatever. It's so weird. I don't get it, and I think I'm at that point in my age where it's just I'm never going to get it either.
I don't care to anymore. Yeah, it's kind of a nice age to be at.
But this girl, she was... You can tell she was kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She didn't know what to say. Like, so when he seen her like fidgety, he's like, you nervous? Are you nervous? Are you nervous, baby girl?
What's the matter? You don't like to hear about natural childbirth?
Baby girl, you don't like to be plunged?
Plunging out of vaginas?
I know.
What the fuck, dude?
I'm like, well, that's probably the worst conversation.
So I know we don't know each other very well, but I feel like this is something you need to know. I was plunged out of my mother's vagina.
Not a combo starter.
No, I didn't plunge out. I was so difficult. They had to actually use a plunger that they got from the custodial
Then he
closet.
Then
what was next?
Not to make matters worse. He's like, yeah. And then one time, like, this conversation happens. It's not like he didn't lead into this
it's
from
not
that.
Like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Somehow it got brought up. He's like, yeah, when my siblings were younger, I'd grab my sister by the sides of her head, and then I'd pick her up and then drop her and like let her down and stuff. I'm like, bro, you're like
sometimes
over 2.
I shoot dogs.
I was a real dick. You know, he was saying he was an asshole then when he was a kid or something. Yeah. I mean, but he was a kid. He was like 18.
More mature now.
But when he said that, I'm like, what are you doing?
I was plunged out of my mom's vagina, and I like to pick my sister up by the sides of her skull and drop her. Whoop. Wow. Wow.
I don't know.
So you want to go on a second date or what?
So did I...
That said, I'm sure we've all had moments that we were not...
Oh, dude.
There are times where you get really nervous or whatever.
So I went on this date. This is... I was still living in Seattle. I was working at this Arby's in Renton. I got to say, I was like 19, 20. So there was this girl, her and her sister would come in all the time. Well, her sister comes up to me because I'm working the cash register and hands me a note. And she goes, this is my sister's number. She thinks you're cute, whatever. You know, she wants to go on a date or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, and so I'm single. I don't know. I'm young. Yeah. So I go and it was a cool date. You know, it was all right. We go play pool or do something. And then we drive back I drop her off at the Arby's I worked at. And it was kind of like, you know, 3-4 in the morning. It's, you know, pretty late.
Good date.
And we're kind of just talking and stuff. And then she just proceeds to tell me about, and I don't know if this is the person, I don't know if this happens to you, but I get people to like, they feel very comfortable around me and they open up. And I don't mind that at all. Mm-hmm. I think if it was someone else, it would have probably been like, probably shouldn't open up with that.
Yeah.
But she was talking about these guys that, like, you know, ran a train on her and stuff. I was like, as I whisper, as they ran a train on her. They ran a train on her. But anyway, like, yeah, they did all this stuff to her and stuff. And I was just
against her will, or she was willing.
I couldn't. It sounded like it was against her will, but then part of it sounded like it was just something that happened at some point, you know? And I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. You know, like she was anally raped. I think that's what it was. And she's telling me this, and mind you, it was a very heavy conversation.
I know we don't know each other well. I'm going to tell you about my worst moment.
Yeah, exactly. Is how it went. I was just like,
with you. I feel very sorry for her.
I felt sorry, and I did. You know, like I don't know if it's just the personality like I have or you have. I think people tend to do that sometimes, which is cool. Like
I've never had anyone tell me that particular story.
Well, yeah. But do you ever get people to just open up to you about just random stuff? Yeah. Like you don't ask for it. You know what I mean? It's not something you ask for.
Tell me about your worst moment.
Hey, so this day's going great, by the way. Yeah. So what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
I just want to let you know ahead of time, I have a little bit of trauma in my background.
I know.
Wow.
It was very heavy for someone my age.
In the morning.
Oh, bro, yeah, the sun was coming up. You remember that day me and you were fire pit and the sun starts coming up? It was like that moment. Except you weren't getting anally raped. You know what I mean? Like it was.
Well, thank God for that. I wasn't that drunk.
Right? It was.
Golly.
You know, like obviously we still talked.
Yeah.
You know, like I never feel right. Like
just being.
I knew I wasn't gonna. Okay. I knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere prior to that conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that conversation made it where I was just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think I still remained friends with her for a while, but yeah, that was just
wow.
Very awkward thing. And sometimes I think people just need to let that shit off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's some heavy stuff.
It is.
If it's really a situation where that was like against her will and stuff, I can imagine that that's tough.
It was crazy.
I wouldn't recommend bringing that up to a guy you're on a first date with.
Oh yeah, no, this is literally the first time we've dated.
Wow. Like, yeah, and you guys hadn't really ever talked before. They just kind
of she would come in
sort of
like
an acquaintance. You knew of her as
the only reason I knew her was because they would come in to get like a sandwich, and it was like a couple times a week, right? They'd come in pretty often, so I would
repeat customers.
Yeah, and I worked all the time, so I would know them just off of that, and then I was like, interesting. So
boy.
Yeah. So I thought that was very awkward.
Dates.
Yeah. Who's ever had an awkward date?
You know.
No, I've had some pretty awkward dates, I think. You know? I don't know. People like I said, people just open up to me about some random stuff. I've had people at works, like not just at this work I work at now, but like other jobs where they just kind of just vent towards me, you know, like not at me, but with, you know, just come into my office and start venting.
Like you're like a therapist type.
Yeah, like when I worked at my last job, my office was literally an electrical closet, and so the door would stay open and people would just come there, and then like I'd have students as I'm fixing the computer just spill their guts, and I'm like, damn, oh yeah, you know. And I would always act like, I don't know if it's just I'd be inquisitive. I just start asking questions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And in my head I'm like, and it's weird because it's in my head I just want the conversation to end, but my mouth's like,
no,
so
we're gonna look
what's going
this.
on? Yeah. So I want, you know, I'm talking with them about it, and I don't know if maybe it helped them.
Did you bill them afterwards?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, our hour's up.
I know. Yeah, so that's going to be $150.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm covered by some insurance.
You know, you don't have insurance? Oh, well, you're fucked. $300.
Sorry, out of pocket.
Right?
You'll get your computer back when you can pay. Oh, that's the mafia thing that you always wanted. So,
hey, you know what?
You want this fucking computer?
You know how many computers I have from that job? Quite a bit, because people would just leave them. Like they were like, I'm like, hey, your computer's here. I'll keep it. I got a new one. I didn't want that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, wow. All right. And then obviously, I don't know, anybody who's in like an industry similar like this, like you never, like, I love to fix computers, but when it comes to shit for me, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is fucking fix a computer.
Yeah.
And that's when I was young.
Ever as good as new computers?
They can be.
Okay.
It just depends on what you're fixing, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're like replacing, if it's like a motherboard issue, then no. But if it's like a hard drive, you can always actually sometimes, at least nowadays, you can, you know, get a better hard drive or, you know, whatever.
Okay.
Upgrade the RAM, whatever.
So as long as you got a good processor.
Yeah.
And all that, then.
Yeah. If the processor's decent and everything, I mean, you're good. If it's the motherboard, then you're kind of shitty, you know, like sometimes you just get a shit motherboard.
Yeah.
But you can sometimes even order new motherboards. But when it gets to that point, you might as well just get a new computer.
Sure.
Honestly, it's just as expensive.
You're going to spend more.
It's just as expensive
fixing up parts.
Dude, we do where I work now. It's like it's warranted for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. So after the warranty, if you want a new, like if the motherboard goes out, it's what $1,200 for this motherboard, right?
And how much is a brand new computer?
$1,700.
Yeah. So
maybe less than that, actually, $1,500 or something. So it's almost more cost effective to get the new computer, because you're going to have the warranty for 3 years.
Other parts are going to wear out.
Yes,
you're going to be nickel and diming parts.
Yeah. Yep. So
what Blanca learned is a lot of these companies now are doing remote. So it's now a benefit to work from home. And when you do that, a lot of companies aren't providing the computers anymore.
Yeah,
so that's going to make a big difference on the company's expenses.
There is some places where it's like bring your own computer.
Yeah.
Because you can remote into it from your computer.
I'm guessing, right? As far as like hacking in and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, with those, like we have this thing called VDI.
Yes.
Or VPN. But VDIs, it's like this virtual desktop environment.
Yeah.
And so you get into that through your computer. The computer's
just accessing.
Yeah, yeah. And so in that sense, it's secure. I mean, there's not much people can do. VPNs is pretty much the same way.
So what's this new deal I heard about that's like shocking through the world, that there's a huge hole in security in tons of software?
Oh,
even like Microsoft, the game the kids like, not Roblox, but Minecraft is like has a patch coming out because of it.
Oh, I know. There's a lot of exploits people can find out.
There's, I guess, some huge one I read a story about, but I'm not a tech guy, so
I haven't looked into it.
It was pretty bad, I guess.
But I mean, anything that has information out there, I mean, that's the problem. You're pretty risk.
I feel like at this point, no matter what,
people got hacked, like Target got hacked.
Right.
You know what I mean? How many people go to fucking Target?
I know.
Millions, you know?
Yep.
So
I think it's just kind of one of those things. Like, as much as we want to be in control, what do you do? I
don't know. It's really tough. Like I've read books on people who've hacked, and I mean the people who can hack. And I went to this actually seminar in Seattle a few years ago And there was this guy who he did a big hack back. Excuse me. Back in it was in the early ages of like Amazon and stuff. Like he took over these websites. He cost them billions of dollars, and he was 15.
Yeah,
15 years old, and he did all this damage. It was really impressive, his story, right?
Yeah.
I think he brought down like CNN. He brought down like huge like
networks
and stuff, and cost, like I said, I think it was like billions of dollars. This dude's making bank now doing they call them penetration tests. So like they go to test your network. So he makes bank off that, and like because these companies want to hire you now. Like
right.
Well,
you're good.
The FBI wants to hire you. What is it?
Sites,
Catch Me If You Can, that movie based on a true story, right? They hired him after that.
Yep.
Like, dude, you can do all that. Oh, dude, we need to know that. We want that knowledge.
Right.
So
can you imagine
being a hacker would be sweet?
God.
These dudes knew how to phone hack.
If somebody hacked me, I'd want them dead. Like I gotta say, like I think if you stole from people tons and tons of money, I think you should just get executed. How else are you gonna stop people from doing it?
This dude went to prison and he would phone hack, like they call it phreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So they because all a phone is a tone, right? So when you put that quarter into the payphone, so any of you young kids out there, there's these things called payphones. They used to take quarters. But anyway, they're based off of tones, right?
Okay.
And so there's a way to like mimic the tones or mimic a certain tone or something to hack that, and you can get like free long distance and free international.
Somebody just showed a video on gas for that. I'm thinking like, yeah, well, you're stealing. I wouldn't probably put.
So this guy would do that with like collect calls, so he wouldn't collect calls, like so it wouldn't cost anybody when they're getting those collect calls. It was pretty impressive. I mean, it's very impressive. They even hacked the casinos.
Yeah,
they figured out.
Jeez.
The casino, which you don't want to do that.
Not easy, and they are
legs go missing.
Yeah, if they may not be mobbed up anymore, but again, we've talked about the uber rich. The uber rich own the casinos. I don't know,
but it was pretty cool. But yeah, that was fun.
Gosh, I tell you,
fuck it.
Yeah.
What do you got there? Tom? The
only other thing I have is my wife left me a note.
Oh, I'm glad you finished that. My wife left me a note.
She left me a note. What? My wife loved me a note. Why do girls love gossip? And then she even wrote it as if I'm saying it. My wife heard some gossip and started yelling and jumping up and down. This is true.
Girls do love gossip.
They do.
But secretly, I think men like gossip. We don't gossip
to a point.
You know what I mean? We're not going to sit there and like tell someone's their business, but right?
It's interesting if I know the people. If I don't have a clue who the people are, I don't care so much.
Did you know Judy? That bitch. Don't tell anybody this. That bitch got pregnant from another man. Oh, Judy. I knew Judy was a hoe.
Judy was a hoe. She always was. That Rosie O'Donnell. Did you know Rosie? Rosie O'Donnell.
Fucking hoe. Focho.
She's a nasty woman. I heard it. I heard it from Melania.
But no,
she.
Why do women love gossip?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I want a woman to write in and just tell me, like, what is it about knowing someone else's life is going to shit that gives you so much joy?
So, like, So, shout out to any of my Alliance people from my Marvel Contest of Champion games I play on my phone. If you guys are listening, thank you for listening.
Sure.
There is a couple ladies that are in the Alliance. One of our leaders is a lady.
Awesome.
So, hey, if you got a like let us know.
Because again, it's not like we don't like it at all. I just like it's a different level. At least with my wife, it's a very different level.
It is because then they want like
then they'll call each other and keep it going. Like it almost gets like accelerated.
Like we get bored out of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I've kind of heard enough. Like I get this.
And then I go off and do whatever.
Yeah, like, oh, all right, she cheated. All right, I'm kind of done, honey. I don't really care to hear anymore. Like I get it.
Yeah.
And she's just like calling, like, did you hear the news? Oh my god, what did you hear? I'm like, honey.
So like, I don't think Alicia
we don't even know
like,
these people.
I don't think Alicia is a super into like what they call chisme in our Spanish community. Chismosas. But obviously a little bit of juicy gossip's always nice, right?
Sure.
So I don't know what it is. Ladies just, I don't know if it's something they can relate to. Maybe. Because women are very more emotional creatures than a man in some sides.
The history of Tony Robbins, right? Tony Robbins,
the little cheater.
got that shit wrong last time. Is it Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins, yeah. Banana hands is what he was called in Shallow Hal. Man, you got some banana hands.
If Tony Robbins is right, then that would make sense. Women need to know everything about everything and share that information.
That's true.
That would make sense. And that would make sense why men don't necessarily. But now we're in this misogynist, anti-misogynist world where maybe that view is archaic different. And not correct. So
I don't know.
If anyone has another
I don't mind hearing stuff.
Yeah.
But then like you just said, like there's a point where it's just like,
okay,
whatever.
I've heard the same thing care. 5 times. It hasn't changed, but we're acting like it's more exciting. So,
there gets to a point where it's just like, nah, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. Right. You know, like, yeah, he had that bitch though, but you know that bitch.
Yeah, no, it's different. If she hates the person, then it's like, okay, I'm in because like, I get it, but. If it's somebody that we don't even really know.
I think that's the thing, too, is I think it's because men, we don't relate on the same level when it becomes something.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, I don't think it's the gossip, what's being gossiped about. I just don't think there's a point of where it's like, for us, it's different. You know what I mean? I think that's where it's that whole Venus Mars thing, like men are from Venus or Mars or some shit, and women are from Venus or one of those two.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention, but I
didn't listen. But.
I think there comes a point where it's just like for us, it's not as interesting. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
Yeah,
we listen because obviously we're wanting to hear out our wives, and we wanted to show them that we're listening, right? Right, guys? Wink, wink.
Yes, sure want to listen.
Because I don't know about you guys, we've all been accused of not listening.
Never.
And if any guy ever says no, come on the show so I can slap you because you're lying.
You're a liar.
I'm just kidding. I won't slap you. But
you're a liar, though.
Teach me your ways if that's the truth.
Yeah.
But no, most guys, it's not that we don't listen. It's just it's not interesting to us.
Sometimes we don't, and it's not our fault.
Yeah.
We can't. It's not our fault.
I think we hear things differently, though, too.
Sometimes it's like, I'm going to wait for him to not listen so I can say something because then I can prove he's not listening.
Yeah.
Well, don't get mad at us if you know we're not listening.
Yeah. But then I think it's the same way with women, though. I think women don't always listen.
There are plenty of times where they don't listen. She's told me.
I think they only listen when they want
that. And then I say, like, okay, well, this one I actually do remember. And I'll say when. Which I can rarely do, but sometimes I can.
But you guys got cameras; you can bring up the footage.
Oh, I did once, and it ended when.
Let's cue up the footage.
I told her one time I got 22, so mad, I was like,
10:53 a.m.
because she'll always do it. Like I can look on the cameras, and usually I'm like, don't look on the cameras. I know I'm wrong.
Right.
But like because in the end, it's like you remember better than I do. This time I knew what I said. I said, get on the camera, go do it, get on the camera. It ended quick.
Yeah,
she did not want the stenographer.
Did you push? And you don't say nothing though, right? I told you so.
Oh no, you can't. You just like vindicate.
You didn't gloat though.
I'm done. Let's move on. Let's
internally, you were gloating though.
Well, yeah, it's like I love it.
You were like,
no, I'll fucking gloat. I'll just tell it like I won this one.
I know.
I won. It's not a smart move, but
I've had sometimes like where Sadia or one of the other kids have actually backed me up.
Yeah,
I'm like no, he did say that. He's like,
that's nice. My kids are never gonna back me up, but that's okay.
Well, I don't think it's not that they're gonna back. They just don't listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're at an age right now. Obviously, Sadia's, she's 19. And then, like, if Ziana's in there, they'll listen. But, like, the younger kids, they don't care. JJ, obviously, I love all my kids to death. So most guys, you can relate to this. Your kids are always going to side with mom. Almost 98% of the time.
Yes.
JJ will side with Alicia. Till death. You know what I mean? He loves his mom. Like, he loves mom. He's already said, Papa. So it goes, Alicia this is his number scale. So in this scale, 0 is number 1.
Okay.
Mom is 0.
Okay.
Mom falls at 0. You're number 1. Elena's number 2. And then it's like, Sadia, then Cheeky, and then Leo. Like he has a number scale. Who's his people?
Poor Leo.
I know.
Fuck you, kid.
But no, Alicia, boom, and I just laugh. And then there was one time something happened, and right away JJ's like with mom, and Alicia laughed. Oh no, whoever gets to the room first gets a hug. I win. Clearly win. he said,
Mom
"Wait,
still
Papa,"
gets the hug.
and then he gives to Mom. Willie's he'll push me or like whatever, but it like for it's always gonna go to Mom, and I just laugh, and she laughs because she knows, she'll laugh. But I know,
funny kid.
But no, I think women do I don't know, they just love the gossip.
Yeah, we'll have to have her on sometime to explain it from her perspective. I think.
Yeah, we need to have our wives on. We need to have an episode.
I don't
with
mean to
wives.
judge because it's funny.
You know what?
It makes her so happy.
Let's try to get them on next time.
I think we can.
We might be doing this podcast again, either early or late next week, because there's a chance we're going to Oregon.
Well, this holiday season thing, like you guys know, those of you that have listened the last few weeks, shout out to the guys at work that listen. Thank you. There are a few.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Mike is still, I think, #1 fan. He
Thanks, Mike.
every once in a while. Thank you, Mike.
I don't know you, but again, thank you.
He's a good guy. And yeah, just it's holiday season. There's a lot going on, so sometimes we can do it on Friday like usual. Sometimes we can't. Probably in January we'll be back.
We'll be back on a normal cycle. Like next week. Yeah, it's gonna be. We're most likely going to Oregon on Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm not too excited about it. But
what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't feel like traveling. There's just times I just do not feel like traveling. And
sure. Well, and you guys make
during
the same
December,
trip a lot.
I don't want to fucking travel. The fucking weather sucks.
Yeah.
Although it's been weird this winter.
Weird. It really has.
Well, I guess winter hasn't.
How about the windstorm today?
Fuck that.
We had a nasty windstorm. Fences were blown over.
Were blown over.
Our road.
We were coming from. Shit, I can't remember exactly where, but the stop sign, or not the stop sign, but the light.
Yeah.
You know how it has the border around it?
Uh-huh.
Part of it was broken off and swinging. Oh, so it was Kellogg and 10th.
Yeah. Okay.
It was right there. It was just swinging.
Good Lord. I mean,
Alicia and I were looking at her, and she's like, that's like Russian roulette. Who's going to get it?
Hey, that's a lot of money.
It always sounds like Rush and Roulette.
It's Rush and Roulette.
That's what I'm going to always call it.
Yeah.
It's not proper to call
it. Hey, do you want to call Russian Roulette?
I'm going to call me some Russian Roulette.
I get to be Rush. You get to be Roulette.
I knew a girl named Roulette. She was a nice fella.
Roulette. She was a nice fella. She had big old honker teeth.
But no, I don't know. I think it would be cool once we get on a regular schedule to have the girls on, just to get their point of view. Like obviously we give you guys our point of view.
Yeah.
From I can't even say from a guy perspective, but since we're men, I do say it.
And this show, I think, is more tuned towards
the man and father perspective.
Getting your voices out and heard.
Yeah.
But
so hit us up. We're always going to want questions. We're always going to want to know what's going on.
Yeah. You're actually in a dad.
I'm in a dad group, so
that's
shout
cool.
out to this face group. It's Dads for Dads or something, and it's pretty cool because you'll get Facebook, questions. Right? Yeah, on Facebook, you get questions, and I really think it's pretty awesome because like it gives me an idea of kind of what to bring to the table here.
Yeah,
and then it's just another way for us to like throw our name out there because eventually, like I've said and you've said, like we want this to grow to something a little bigger.
Sure.
It's something we're always going to do just because I think for both of us, it's an outlet.
Yeah, it's
for us.
Yep.
Because we like to vent in a way that's fun, but it's also going to help others.
On a podcast, we'd be doing this at the bar.
At the bar, or we golf, which
right.
it's okay because we need to do that.
Or
fit, or whatever. We're going to figure a way to do this outlet, but being able to share it's kind of cool.
It is cool.
But when I was there, I did find a question that I kind of related to. I guess the way it's worded, and see, this is where it's like as a man, I read this and I understood what it meant.
Sure.
As if a woman read it, I don't mean this in a misogynistic way or like, well, whatever. I just think a woman would, and this is where that communication between men and women kind of like fall.
The interpretation would be different.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
They would read it and think, something terrible when a man, it's not the way it was meant.
Sure.
And his question was just like, do other dads just feel unwanted in your own home?
Gotcha.
Right. And so like, for me, I can relate to that because it's not that we don't feel wanted in our own home. Right. It's just sometimes we feel like we don't matter to be there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's always, we're the quiet guys. We're kind of like low. We run under the radar. Things happen, and so I think as a dad, I can relate to that. Yeah. To what that just said, I can relate to that. I've had moments where I felt like it's just like, not that why am I here, but just like.
Well, and I think like if we're honest about society in general, we have a big issue with mental illness and mental health.
Yeah.
And it's not a secret that there are a lot of adults that struggle with feelings of isolation and of depression, thoughts of suicide. So maybe it's more general than that. Even there are men, women, single in relationships who feel that invisibility in the sense of you're dealing with stuff that you don't know how to process, or you're not, for a lot of people, when you first have kids, you have a house, you have a partner, you've got all this life stuff going. If you have done that in a relatively short amount of time, there's a lot of change, a lot of things that you have to kind of learn how to, not that they're bad, you got to just adapt. But it's like, that's a lot of added responsibility. Yeah. And so some people do kind of shrink into themselves in that.
And I'm guilty of that. I've done that.
I have
many times where I've just kind of like isolated into myself instead of like throwing out my emotions of actually how I feel. And I think that's where I think men need to kind of break out of that shell where they need to, be heard. Like you're going to feel frustrated about something, like let that out. Like it's okay. The thing I think about our
culture is like, on the one hand, there's this push for men to be more open, but the reality is there isn't that push. Nobody really wants to hear it,
because when they do, what happens?
Attracted to it. Like that's the other side.
Because you're a pussy. Again, if you are,
you guys, right? This is my thing for women. Like I know I do this a lot, but if you want to get real, let's get real.
It's a double standard.
Men are going to do what gets results.
Yeah.
And men don't see open men getting women's attention. It doesn't happen.
And it won't, because like, the women go for the bad boy.
And I understand, like nobody wants to hear a guy just bitching about everything all the time. But like, if we're going to have people be open and honest, there's times in your life where everyone's going to feel sad. If something isn't going right at work, you feel bad about yourself.
100%.
If somebody criticizes you, you feel bad about yourself.
Yep.
Men hate themselves as much or more than women do. Like, I actually think all humans, we all do it the same way.
Honestly, really. I think men might hate themselves more than women. I can almost say, because apparently studies out there, the suicide rate for men is actually higher than women.
3 times higher, actually.
Some
will say that women attempt suicide more, but men are successful when they do it, and it's about 3 times the rate.
So like, which is crazy. Are women doing it for attention, or are they doing
competition?
It's not a competition, but like
it does show the mental health issue in this country. And if men can't talk, and it's not acceptable in our culture, and it's not something that is really valued, then nothing's going to change. But I don't think that we do. Like even I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm not making it seem like there's a competition, but I think it just not proves the point, but just shows that, men do struggle with this stuff, and it's very hard for us to like throw it out there.
Right. And men have rights. I feel weak at this moment. Too. I mean, like we have rights to have concerns.
And we're not saying to sit there and bitch and complain about it all the time.
And we're not saying that our life is worse than anybody else's.
But we're also saying it's okay to fucking bitch and complain. Like I will be the first to admit that there's times I fucking will voice my opinion. I think I've said this many times on this show. Like Alicia, even though she hates it sometimes, I think she allows me the moments that I feel like at my weak points. She ultimately
will respect you more in the end.
Yeah. And I can't, I came to the point in my life where I could care less if someone's not going to accept me for being honest with who I am and being open and being like, being real, then fuck them. Like I can care less about you. Like, because at the end, like I need to feel good about who I am.
Yep.
So if someone can't accept that, if they're looking for like, oh, he keeps complaining. Like, you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm just being real. Like, I'm having a shitty day. Yeah. I need someone to talk to. You're my woman or you're my partner. Like, I should be able to feel and, like relay this message to you without feeling anything. Like, I should just be able to do this, and you should be able to like accept it. And it should go obviously both ways. You're right. You know, your woman feels weak because she does. She have those moments where the woman feels weak. We should be the same the way. Hey, come here. You know, let's talk about it, or just fucking talk to me. I'm not gonna like throw out my message because I think some people just need to have someone listen.
See, and
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is about whoever it is that you're with, learning the way that they communicate and trying to meet them at their needs. Because I know I've struggled with it.
Yeah.
And Blanca, like, I was a talker, and we've been like, no, we're gonna work through this. We're gonna work through this.
And that's how I am that now. It did
not work for her. Like,
no,
really, like she needs a little bit of time, and then she can deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know.
I think that's our personality, is where we're like, let's deal with this now. I can't, like, for me, it used to be, I can't go to bed angry.
Sure.
Because, and this is something I actually got it from with a lady I worked with. Just never go to bed angry. Always make sure you guys are good.
You don't want problems to fester.
Yeah. So I would always do that. And obviously, as I grew, I learned, like you just said, like, some people they need time for themselves, like we do, is to like process some shit.
Yep.
And so Alicia is the same way. Well, I think that's why Alicia and Blanca get along so well, because they kind of
understand.
Yeah, they can process. And I think that's me and you're the same.
Well, I think if you're a guy, I think a girl too, anybody that's feeling that way, you might catch some shit for saying it right away. But if you don't say something about feeling invisible, you're going to start resenting
that person
invisible.
Yeah.
And right. You're going to turn that on them.
Yep.
And you're going to start.
You're going to take it out on the family.
It's their fault. And then you're going to start building this narrative of negativity that will erode the relationship.
Yeah. Because you're going to believe something in your mind. You know what I mean? You're going to just go, no, that's how it is. That's how it is.
If you allow that to become your reality, that's going to become your relationship. And then they will resent you for things you do out of spite and that feeling. The only way to address it isn't to listen to our advice or to listen to anybody else.
Just talk.
It's worth having that relationship, you have to talk to that person.
Yeah.
You have to let them know.
I want to say that's
feeling.
Kind of what I said. Like, sometimes you need to have that conversation.
Right. And
it's difficult as shit.
If they're that mad and can't get over it, maybe it's not a good relationship.
I think the way this question was worded, it's not the fact that they were mad.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that this person felt unwanted in their home, right?
But then you got to talk to the other person, because maybe they feel
my question. I think one of my questions, like, return was, do they know?
Does your partner know?
Because sometimes you can feel this way, but you didn't relay that message, and it could be, and I think this goes both ways, where you think they should know how you feel.
Well, and the question too,
you know what I mean?
What were the circumstances in their relationship?
Like, see, I don't know. I don't know any of that.
Yeah, like, if they had just had a baby, she could be through postpartum depression. Like, there may be a lot of other factors going on. But like, that can complicate things. But
for me, as a dad, as a step parent, as you're a step parent as well, but like, there's been times where it's like, you know, like, there's things I can't feel like I can do because, and I don't know if this is so much for you because you came in early.
Sure.
But for like my stepkids, it's like, it's you know, where's the line where I can do, you know, become dad, you know, and I've always come to this approach where I'm not trying to be their dad, and I don't want them to know. I let them know, like, I don't think I've ever personally told them, but like, I'm not trying to take their dad's place, because I can't do that, you know.
Right.
We know their dad. He's a fucking good guy. Like, that's his job.
Right.
I could be there for them though.
Right.
And so I think, like, in this sense, feeling unwanted is like, it's just like, sometimes you just feel helpless. Like, there's nothing you do. Like, you're this invisible person walking around. You might do a million different tasks in your home that go unnoticed, right?
Sure.
And so there's that appreciation where people like to be appreciated. Right. I don't care who you are. There comes to a point where you kind of want some recognition or feel appreciated. And I think for me, that's just how I took his question. It was like, maybe there's this appreciation that he's lacking. Like, maybe he needs that reassurance. Like, no, babe, I do love you. I'm sorry. Like, thank you for doing this. And I think Alicia, like, because I felt that way, and I don't think I said it in that sense, but Alicia, like, she finally understood how I felt. And so like lately, like, not just lately, but she's been like, you know, like, hey, I really appreciate the stuff you do. And like,
Blanca's done some of the same things.
You know what I mean?
And I think some of that does come with age. I don't think when you're first in a relationship, it's as common.
Obviously.
When you've been around a few years, like Blanca's mentioned it, like if I've left for a few days. One time I went to visit my parents down in Arizona. She, like for my birthday, she bought me a plane ticket and sent me down to see them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
So
that was
just
a couple
like
years ago.
A short weekend, but I came back and she told me like, wow, there's some things that you do that I never really realized until like I was here without you.
Yeah, Alicia's done the same thing.
And so it does make you feel good. And we don't ever want to feel like we're asking for the attention. There's sort of a feeling of like, I know it's not cool to like tell them to be that I need to be recognized. So it's like, but that's where that resentment can come in. Is then it's like, well, they don't notice anything anyway. I used to get mad. I'd start cleaning and then just get pissed. Like nobody else cares. I'm the only one that gives a shit about the house. I don't.
Exactly. And that's why I would clean sometimes because I was so pissed. I would just clean. Yeah.
It just was this narrative that I had built. And Blanca called me on it when she first was home. I was in this phase of trying to keep the kitchen super clean, and I'd done it for like a week and a half, and it was going good. And some stuff was left out, and I started cleaning it. And she said, "Stop." And I was like, I kind of came at it with like but
who's going to clean it?
If we don't clean it, then it's going to get a mess, and I'm trying to keep it clean. So if we don't, and she just said, look, if you don't stop, you're going to get mad at me. And we're going to have problems. She's like, you have to trust me that I will clean it up.
Yeah. See, and that's good.
The kitchen is a mess now, but at the end of the day, like, it didn't really matter if the kitchen was all that clean.
She recognized the fact that she's seen those points that you were. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. And so she
recognized that in you.
There are things to be careful about and to know, like, you can make a relationship successful or you can kill it.
Yeah. And when you're younger, you tend to, a lot of guys, we tend to kill it, right?
Yeah. Well, look at what you're going through. You're probably buying a house or figuring out how to rent an apartment or whatever.
Maybe having a new kid.
Maybe having a kid. You're buying cars. You're starting new jobs. You're learning how to do your own finances.
You're learning how to be in a long-term relationship.
Maybe you got yourself in credit card debt, or you made some mistakes early on. You don't know how financing works, and there's a lot of things that add and compound stress.
Basically, like you want to have this open dialogue with your partner. Like
you got to be on the same page, and you got to be together.
I can't stress that enough because, obviously, like if you have never tuned into this show, this guy right here is my ex-wife's husband.
Yep.
Right.
And this guy is my wife's ex-husband.
yeah. Me and my ex-wife obviously have a daughter and stuff.
Yeah.
But in my relationship early on, obviously I was very introverted and I kept my emotions under check, or if something got brought up, I would just leave it that way.
Yeah.
I would just like, no, fuck it. All right. Well, that's what you want. Yeah. And I wouldn't say nothing. Well, obviously you're the opposite of that. When now, cause you're older too, is like, you say stuff. And then that's how I am now myself is like, my wife will say stuff, but like, I don't let it do what it used to do to me.
Yeah.
See, and I'm like, no, like I'll throw it out there. I'll, be vulnerable. It's like what we talked about a few weeks ago. You got to be vulnerable, and then you got to be willing to accept that vulnerability. It's hard as fuck.
But it does take. I mean, you can love somebody
ways.
and you can think that you trust them. Really trusting somebody is different, though, than just saying, "Oh yeah, I love you, I trust you." I don't think I fully trusted Blanca, like honestly, until recently. Just out of being married long enough and being through enough. She's the only person I've ever been with in my life that I felt like, outside of like people that had to love you or whatever. That like end of the day, like she was on my side no matter what.
Yeah, and that's that. I think I felt that same way with Alicia is the same way.
Yeah,
same.
So it's just one of those things of like you grow together. You work stuff out.
You hit those bumpy roads together.
And you are two different people. Like she and I will never be the same person.
No.
But you just get to the point, like you know each other well enough and you understand each other well enough and you try hard enough.
It'll work out.
Things get a little easier. And I think if you're really young in a relationship and you have those outside stresses, like you're just buying a house, you're starting new jobs, you got
just have a baby.
Right. I mean, one thing guys
having a baby there's a huge stress under itself, because now you got to realize, am I making them up? Yes. Am I going to support this kid? Am I going to have the room for this kid?
I'm going to stand up for women on this one and say that postpartum shit's real.
Oh, that's real.
If your girl's got postpartum, then if you're feeling invisible and she's dealing with that, she may not be in that moment the right person to open up to. If you know that that's in fact what's going on, she probably.
But I think in that moment, but then you got
to figure out who you can go to talk it out and get.
I think if you can recognize that your woman's in this postpartum, like that's where you as a man need to step up and see what you can do to help her through that, not necessarily,
and then get something in. And
this is where I think it becomes like you kind of like need to almost put, and it's like you were about to say, is maybe, talk to someone, but also with those feelings, you got to remember, you got to kind of almost put those on the back burner. Like, okay, this is the reason for these feelings.
Right. And it's hard to do. And I was not always perfect at it, because sometimes.
And I think I've learned to do that. Not that I'm perfect at it, but I can alter those feelings. Like, okay, I just, whatever, fuck it. Fuck what I'm feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's challenging.
It's a juggle.
It never gets super easy.
It'll never get super easy.
It is. I mean, honesty in the end is what's going to work out best.
But it's also the hardest.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like relationships, if you get burned, it stays with you.
So,
and
I'm going to be real. So I had a drink the other day, right? This is where this is a whole honesty conversation I'm about to have. My wife obviously could smell it, right?
Yeah.
So me being an idiot, no, I didn't have a drink, because she asked me straight up. Instead of being just fucking, you know what, I had a drink. Yes, it was cool.
Yeah.
I went through this whole time like denying it, because in my head, and I had told her this after we had this conversation, like I was more like, well, you're gonna get mad, and I don't want to fucking deal with that.
I don't want to
right?
deal with it. Yeah. Yep.
Well, obviously the effect of that is, she was mad because I fucking she didn't care that I drank, right? It was that I lied, right? Which I, don't do that. But me lying is what caused her to be angry.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I would have probably been the same way. So that's where it's like, I think in that moment, if she was even angry for like a few minutes, just being that honest, if I was just honest, it would have been done with, over.
Sure.
Instead of this whole thing over something. It wasn't like a whole thing, obviously.
No, I know what you mean.
But it can become a whole thing where it's just like, if I was just fucking straight up, we'd be good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever. But no.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. And I've done the same thing where you just like decide like, well,
I don't want to fight.
Like,
and that's what it is.
I
don't think it was, I wasn't trying to lie, which I did, but I didn't want to have a fight.
See, my problem is I used to do that with my feelings, and she's smart and intuitive, and she would catch on to that, and she'd call me out on it and be like, why are you lying about feeling this way? And I'm like, because I don't want to piss you off. You're going to get pissed, and then it's just like, so you're lying to me so that you don't have to deal with me. I'm like, well, kind of.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, she would get so much more angry
because you were lying
than if I just said, I'm pissed right now, and here's why.
Yeah.
And then she I'm not saying that she'd be nice about it, but usually we would work through it a lot faster, because at least I told her how I felt.
And she knew where to go for that.
And sometimes you can laugh it off and be like, okay, in hindsight, maybe that wasn't
and that's kind of
the best way to feel. And sometimes it's like, no, that's how I feel, and sorry that I feel that way, but I do, and whatever.
Yeah. Been there, dude.
But that's relationships. At the end of the day, if you have a healthy relationship, then both sides kind of walk away feeling respected, heard, and it gets better.
It does.
Worse. And we joke a lot with each other in ways that would be very disrespectful if people didn't know.
There are some things you guys say that I won't even lie. Like so it's funny because don't get me wrong. Me and my wife have a very healthy and very open relationship, and very honest with each other, and we joke around.
Yeah.
Just like Tom and his, Blanca, they have a very open relationship. They get along, and they're able to joke around, and like, I want to say we both have a very healthy relationship at the end of the day.
I think so.
I
hope so.
As men and as ladies, we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
they won't admit it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No, that's true.
But like,
that's true.
I'll admit, like, I'll be the first to admit that I fuck up some, like 9 out of 10, not 9 out of 10. I fuck up a lot more than she does.
Yeah.
All right. We're always view as them as being perfect and us being like, that's how I always view things. Is like, she's perfect, I'm not. But anyway, yeah, they're joking. I couldn't do with my wife though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's some joking things you guys talk about that obviously I can do, but then there's things I do that I'm pretty sure wouldn't well for you guys.
We're different, and you kind of build that with lines. Blanca's a razzer. She likes the razz game, so
that's how Alicia. I think that's why her and Alicia get along so well.
I really shouldn't say, but she knows at the end of the day that that's not really what I think. It's funny at the end of the day. There have been a few times where I think
it's when it's overly done.
Yeah.
And I've told Alicia that, like, she'll razz me. She's the same way. She likes to razz and crack jokes. You know that.
Yeah.
I think that's why her and Blanca get along so well. But there's been times where I'm like, I get it. Whatever. It's fucking funny. But are you fucking serious now? Like, I'm starting to feel like this is true. You joke about this.
Yeah.
Is this how you really feel or not? You know, like, and she's like, no, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
It's funny because today I looked up zodiacs because I was bored. Alicia was looking at jewelry. I was sitting there and I was bored. And the reason I looked up zodiac signs is because some of the jewelry had zodiac signs on it. So I was like, well, who's a what?
Yeah.
So I was looking up your sign.
Yeah.
I looked up mine. Obviously, I know mine, but like I looked up everybody's, and so I looked up me and you as friends, and it says Pisces and Scorpios. They get along great, almost like best friends and soulmates.
Well, there you go. I love you.
No, it was hilarious. I showed Alicia, and she laughs, right? Because our girls joke all the time about us.
They do.
They do.
Blanca today, I made a joke to her.
They call us boyfriends.
So I found out that our car will track everywhere you go.
Okay.
And it shows Google Maps in the car. And like almost acts like you looked it up. And go, if you were a cheater, it would be the worst car to ever buy.
Cheaters.
You've been to the same
Google.
house 15 times.
I better not even say, hey, Google, this bitch will open up.
It probably syncs up with your phone, too. But anyway.
No, it
like we went to Petco and it popped up and I joked with her and like, well, when I go with my girlfriends, I better not drive this car. And he goes, oh, when are you going to go see Jesse?
That's fucked up. Would she call me a girl?
I know. Fuck you, man.
No, but it's funny because that's Alicia says the same shit. But I looked up their sign, Alicia, and they're super compatible because they're the same type of person. You know what I mean? In a sense, and so they help each other out in that way.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I get at with that. With us is like, you know,
we lucked out. Really
even though our relationship is different than most people's situation, I think we're able to just vent with each other and just feed off each other's energy, just like, you know, the girls are able to do the same thing. They can, you know, vent to each other if they need to. Obviously, I don't know if they do. I don't think they do, but and it's not like we vent. We're like, oh my God.
No, but I think we lucked out in the sense that we have a lot in common, just naturally.
Yeah.
But a lot of shared interests the girls kind of do.
They do, yeah.
Like they're both more like they want to be at home, or sometimes they'll want to go out.
But they're both very stubborn and
they're cool,
outspoken,
with all hanging out, or they're cool with like not. We're always hanging out, and
like I'm more of a like I rather hang out.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like I've said before, I'm an introvert, but I like to hang out.
And
I don't know if that makes
really
sense.
Lazy days, and I have days where I'm not.
You know, and I'm glad we didn't do the podcast yesterday.
Yeah,
I was fucking tired as shit.
Yeah, sure. Oh, Fridays can be hard sometimes.
I couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
So that day was busy as hell all day Friday, and then I was just like, by the end of that party, I was tired. Yeah, I didn't drink or anything, but I was like tired, and I was just like, oh, I'm done. I'm done with this shit. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think we can wrap this up.
I feel good about it. I think we covered some good stuff. If you're dealing with depression, or
if you guys have questions about relationships, about even if you're a woman, you gotta want a man's view, like we're more than happy to listen to that stuff. Like we got our ladies and we share them. I know he does. I know I do. I share with my wife the
we don't
stuff
share.
Yeah, we don't share
We don't
wives,
share them,
obviously.
but
Yeah. We're not that comfortable. We ain't swinging.
We're not weirdos.
I know, but like, no, we'll we share with them that the stuff we talk about and stuff. And
Blanca half the time listens to the podcast.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
Alicia is starting to. But
shout out to Alicia.
Yeah, pew pew pew. She'll give out like a shout out.
There you go.
Right. But we haven't used our little
at all
board lately.
I
yeah,
know. We need to.
We do.
That's the whole point.
I don't think we even ended last week with that.
I think we did.
No.
All right. Well, we'll do it this week.
I don't know. But anyway, if you guys have questions, comments, you guys just anything.
All that up there.
I'm gonna have everything up here the whole time.
If you're just listening, you can't see it.
Cody. Hopefully he's recovered by next week.
Cody's going to fart out all the information.
I'm hoping next week we might do this on a Thursday, maybe a Friday, depending on when we leave to Oregon.
All right.
But it might
we'll
be
try
earlier.
to get it posted as early as we can for those of you that just can't wait for the next episode.
Chomping at the bit?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
I've never used that term
I don't know what it means, but I know it means like it's like a beaver. But anyway, yeah.
You guys have a good weekend.
Thank you for tuning in.
Love you guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. Yeah. Porno. No, I'm just kidding. That's what it sounded like, though. I'll say that till I die. Stay blessed, everyone. Keep it out there.